Today's horror manga dub in narration is Blackbird by Junji Ito. If you enjoy the dub at any point in time, please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into the manga. It happened when I had just gotten back into bird watching after a long break. I pulled out my binoculars, looked out into the sky until interrupted by a strange noise. "Excuse me, the person by the woods." "Huh? What? Please help me. I lost my footing when I was trekking, and now I can't move. I've been waiting for help here." "Oh my gosh. Oh dear, that's real bad." And so, I called the local authorities and they brought in a stretcher. "Your name is Kumai, right? Was he a friend of yours?" "No, I'm a local." "Kumai-san, you really saved my life. Hey, hang in there. We're almost at the hospital." Thankfully, we were successfully able to bring him to the hospital. The doctor there informed us of his injury. "You fractured your leg, but it has already recovered. It seems that it has been quite a while since the injury, am I right?" Then the police began to interrogate him. "Are you Moriguchi Shiro from Tokyo?" "Yes, that's right." "A month ago, did you submit a mountaineering log with your own name before hiking? Did the accident also occur around that time too?" "Yes, you're right, officer." "So, you have been there since a month ago. You were paralyzed due to the fractures. How did you solve the problem of food?" Well, I managed to frugally consume the limited supplies in my backpack." "Is that so? That would have been so dreadful. But, even with the scarce supply, it managed to sustain your health condition pretty well. Is there any way of contacting your next kin?" Well, I don't have any. I don't even have a single relative. I'm also currently unemployed, so there's no way to contact me." "Well, in any case, your bones healed when they were displaced. So, talk after performing the correction surgery tomorrow." I glanced over at his broken legs, then over at him. "Your story made headlines, Moriguchi-kun. Miraculously surviving a full month by solely relying on the limited food supply in your backpack. That certainly has become a hot topic for discussion." Then his face began to tremble. I questioned him. You seem down. Is something wrong?" "Kume-san, I have a request." What is it?" "I know it is rather troublesome, but could you please stay at the ward tonight with me?" "Huh? Why? Please, I'm begging you," he said as he grabbed onto me. Moriguchi Shiro. That man strangely kept persuading me. Thus, I agreed to stay in the ward that night. I remember that day vividly. I had such a hard time sleeping. So, him and I talked through the night. "I heard you don't have any relatives. Are both of your parents deceased?" "No, I don't know anything about my parents. I grew up in an orphanage. The truth is, I don't know a thing about them, be it their looks or their whereabouts." "I see. I apologize for asking such sensitive things." "It's okay. It's no big deal." "But don't you have some sort of girlfriend or something like that, or a friend?" "Nope. No one special comes to mind. My only hobby is mountain trekking, but an accident befell due to my carelessness. So, I've got to find a new job quickly after I discharge. My savings are almost used up. Well, if you need any help, you can always talk to me. This could be a fated meeting after all. Anyways, lights out. Good night." Later that night, I was awoken by some strange noises. What's that? What I saw was a dreaded sight. It scared me half to death. There was a silhouette of some voluptuous lady above him, just leaning over him. She appeared to be kissing him with her giant velvet red lips. Who are you? She looked over at me with her soulless eyes. In form, she appeared to be human, but there was something uncanny about her, something I couldn't put my finger on. She continued to stare at me and then moved closer to me like a predator seeking its prey. She moved her face about an inch's length from my gaze, and then a smile formed on her countenance. I was paralyzed by fear. I couldn't even move, but then, in an instant, she stood up and left the room. Hey, Moriguchi-kun, what the hell was that? Moriguchi's face looked pale and unwell. Then, in the blink of an eye, he spit something out of his mouth. It was a vile substance that stained against the floor. Moriguchi-kun, what is that? Huh? It's flesh. You're right, it's raw flesh. She still came tonight. When I finally thought I could be saved, that woman still came tonight. When I thought I needed not eat flesh anymore, she still arrived. Moriguchi-kun, what on earth happened? Explain yourself. You've got to calm down first, though. Well, it started a week ago or so after my fall. The pain in my leg was excruciating, and no help was coming. My food supply was running critically low. I was almost done for. And then, that was when the woman appeared. Ah, God, please, thank you, save me. But something wasn't right about her. Her face was malformed, almost contorted. And I vividly remember those chewing sounds coming from her mouth. She approached me slowly with her fat lips, as if she was ready to give me a smooch on the lips. Hey, what are you doing? She knelt down, grabbed the back of my shoulder, and then pushed her face against me. She put something directly into my mouth and forced me to swallow. What she fed me orally was actually raw flesh that she had chewed on. But to a starving man like me, it was heavenly and comparable to delicacies. She then let out a chuckle. And then chuckled once again as she walked away into the distance. No, please, wait, hey, wait! But she paid my plea no mind. She's gone. What was wrong with that woman? Hopes of getting rescued gradually turned into unease. That woman probably won't come by again, will she? The hunger returned, and because of the dryness in my throat, I began to breathe heavily. Then, the next day came. Once again, the woman came by to visit. Her cheeks filled with something. She moved her face closer, grasping her lips around my mouth, filling it. This time, the woman fed me warm liquid, and the liquid tasted like blood. Then, she left shortly after, the liquid trickling down the side of my face. From then on, the woman came to feed me fresh blood and raw flesh orally every day. I was able to be rescued thanks to this woman. She was sort of my benefactor. I guess I should probably express my thanks toward her. But the problem is, that woman is still feeding me orally, even though I've been rescued. It's making me feel increasingly unsettled. Besides, the delicious flesh that I tasted when I was starving It's making me nauseous now. You're right. Also, being orally fed by some unknown woman is simply uncomfortable. What kind of meat is that? I don't know, but my instinct tells me that I should have never eaten it. The thought of those words was just so unsettling I didn't even know what to say. I chose to stay in the ward temporarily, since Moriguchi Shiro remained fearful. Then, the next night, I awoken to a strange sound. It was the sound from the previous night. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was that woman again. Hey! You! Stop it! But it was too late. She had already filled his mouth with some sort of substance. Whatever it was too much for him. He quickly spit it out, and what I saw, I could not believe my eyes. It was an eyeball. The eye was bloodshot, the red veins corrupting the once yolky whites. I let out a faint scream. But the woman merely chuckled. No, don't go! But she didn't listen to me. She walked out into the corridor and out the emergency exit. I grabbed onto her shoulder. Then, all of a sudden, her body transformed. Wings grew from her back, and then she took flight into the night. It can't be. Am I dreaming? The next day, I reported the incident to a police officer. I even reported to him the raw meat as evidence, but I omitted the fact that she flew away into the night. However, from then on, the woman suddenly disappeared. I'm really scared, Kumai-san. That woman, she's a demon, a bird-like demon. She must have mistaken me for a nestling. That's why she's been feeding me food all this while. Relax, she won't appear again. I'm an orphan, Kumai-san. I heard that as an infant, I was abandoned under a tree in the park for almost a week. It is practically a miracle that I survived. Could it be that demonic woman had been feeding me since back then? Excuse me? Are you Kumai-san and Moriguchi-san? Yes. We are the police. With regards to the flesh that you provided as evidence, we'd like to ask a few questions. According to the DNA report, the raw flesh and eye, they are parts of a human being. The same person, too. The both of us could not believe the words we were hearing. Moriguchi-san almost threw up in that instant. Could you repeat how the flesh came about, with greater detail this time? We were interrogated for a long time. Even though the officers had their doubts, we were only able to tell them everything that we knew of. That woman never appeared again. The corpse to which the eye and flesh belonged to could not be identified either. I took Moriguchi-kun to the train station. So, you fully recovered, Moriguchi-kun. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Kumai-san. I've caused so much trouble for you. Oh, nonsense. Anyways, are you ready to find a job when you return to Tokyo? If you stayed here, I could recommend you a few jobs. I appreciate the thought, but I'm sorry. I really want to forget about that demonic woman. I see. Well then, take care, my dear friend. Thanks, I'll catch you later. I waved him off and then departed the train. As I continued to wave, I heard something looming above. No way! After a month, I received a postcard about Moriguchi Shiro's new job. There was nothing mentioned about the woman. That fact reassured me. No matter how you must see it, it must have been an eagle or a falcon or something. I must have just imagined that night. A few years later, the remains of Moriguchi Shiro were found. They were found at the peak of Mount Fuji, frozen in a cavity. Based on his belongings, it was him. They were able to confirm that using DNA. Rumor has it that there was a giant black bird that was devouring on his corpse upon discovery. But this fact was never fully confirmed. Right after that, the police released some information to the media that caused confusion to the public. They said that the DNA that was obtained from the raw flesh that Moriguchi Shiro consumed orally through that woman years ago, it was a perfect match. It was a perfect match with his own DNA. How should we put this? In other words, Moriguchi had been consuming his own flesh. The item below is the diary that Moriguchi left in his backpack. It contains the last of his entries. The 8th of August, that woman reappeared when I finally thought she had left me alone. She barged into my room that was locked. How did she get in here? I'm not hungry anymore. You can stop feeding me mouth to mouth. She looked at me with a sad face and then began to bare her teeth. That's the best I can describe the noises she made as she consumed my flesh. I screamed from the top of my lungs. The 9th of August. Why did she eat my flesh? I'll be killed if I stay here. I need to escape to somewhere. But where? It doesn't matter, I guess. I'll just have to go overseas. The 10th of August. Please help me. I'm being held captive by the weird bird. I'm in a crater on Mount Fuji. Those razor-sharp teeth of hers, they've already ripped off almost the whole of my left leg. This has left me immobilized. The 11th of August. Because of the extremely cold weather, I'm almost dead. That woman is probably coming back. She's been eating bits of my flesh every day. This is the exact opposite situation to when I was fed with flesh orally by her a few years back. The entries ended here. If the flesh that was fed to Moriguchi came from himself, then the only possible explanation is that woman, she leapt through time to take his flesh. I found myself back at the same area where I found Moriguchi. I pulled up my binoculars, spying a few different birds, looking around and making my way through the forested area until I heard a loud noise. I looked up above, and there she was, that vile lady, those same huge lips, the raven black hair, and a crow-like body to follow. She looked at me with a sinister gaze. I screamed from the top of my lungs, losing my balance, and falling a considerable distance. My leg. I think it's broken. I looked up above, and there she was, gliding above, descending toward me like an eagle ready to grasp its prey. She landed in front of me, her lips all slobbery. No, I don't want this! But she paid me no mind. That piece of flesh, it brings about a nauseating taste. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please don't forget to comment and tell me that you like this format so I know to keep making these type of videos. And don't forget to like and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching everyone, and remember, you're important and you matter. Have a great night, everyone. Goodbye.